Hello and welcome aboard the walkthrough tour of Maritimo's new M55 Flybridge motor yacht. Hi, I'm Barry-Cotter, Head of Design at Maritimo. So one thing the new M55 Flybridge motor yacht is about is big spaces. And the first impression you get when you step aboard this motor yacht is exactly that. So the adventure deck really sets the tone for the rest of the boat going through. This is just an enormous space. Here you have the optional 1.4 metre hydraulic platform as well, which only adds to that amount of area. As you move forward, you have the aft entertainment module here, so that connects really well with both the upper cockpit and the adventure deck here. So no matter what you're doing, it can integrate really well with that. So under this lid here, you have a sink with a fill-in lid. You have a little preparations area here, as well as electric grill. Now you can have two electric grills here if you choose, or one larger electric grill. You have access to the controls for the electric grill, as well as a lot of storage in the hatch here below. And over to the port side here, you have a top loading refrigeration, which is in a very convenient spot where it's not interfering with anyone in the cockpit, so someone can come and get a quick drink if they need. But it's a big volume area in there where you can store a lot of bottles or cans. So beneath the adventure deck is the tender garage storage area. Now this is a really large area, can fit up to a 2.8 metre jet tender. That can be lowered in the water with an optional davit over to the starboard corner. You have a big gutter system around this hatch with quite a large seal as well, so that'll keep everything in there nice and dry. This is also a really good spot to store those larger, bulkier items like stand-up paddleboards, kayaks, dive gear, fishing gear. And then as well, you have your access to all your services, rudder table and things of that nature down here as well. There's a big step to get in here that's nice and convenient if you have to work around a tender or anything you have stored in here as well. And then at night time, or when it gets a bit darker as well, the whole area is lit up as well. So moving from the adventure deck to the upper cockpit, we have a single step here, and that's something where we've just tried to minimise the amount of steps from space to space. In this area we have a few features. We have a rope locker each side, which you can fit shore power leads or ropes in. Under that as well, we have a concealed area for the shore power outlets, and that really brings the shore power leads out of the trip zone, as well as keeps the plugs concealed away. Here as well we have a flush cockpit gate, and that just makes it nice and tucked away where you're not going to catch yourself on it or catch any ropes on it with the gate open or closed. And it's just a simple hinging mechanism as well, just to lock that off. So here we are in the upper cockpit. This is the perfect area for entertaining or dining. It connects to the aft galley as well as the adventure deck. This entire area as well is covered by the Flybridge moulding above, so that really encapsulates you in this area and keeps you very protected. There's recesses up in the hardtop here as well, where you can have optional drop-down breezeway or clears, and they all can roll up to be concealed away in the hardtop. So that, in the event that weather comes up or you want some privacy, that again really makes this area quite a versatile space. So we have optional lounges both on the port and starboard side here at the front of the upper cockpit. To each side of those we have these small glove compartments here. All of the lounges in this area as well have lift-up storage in them, so you have quite a large space for storage below. Also in the deck here we have access to the engine room via the engine room hatch. So there's a number of different dining settings we can have in this area as well. So here we have more of a casual dining setting with the table folded up and in this position, but we can also do more of a formal outdoor dining setting where we spin the table around and fold the leaves out. And then we can bring some either ottomans or deck chairs into this area, and you can quite comfortably seat 6 people at the dining table. So a key feature of all Maritimo motor yachts is the full height walk-around decks. Now these connect both sides of the upper cockpit and run all the way to the forward deck. You have good rail height all the way along this area, but a key feature of the M55 is this Flybridge wing overhang that you see above. So that gives this a real motor yacht feel, and it also gives more beam in the Flybridge, as well as pushes the internal staircase further outboard to give more beam in the galley. So moving up onto the forward deck, the high bulwarks continue all the way forward. So for anyone unsure on their feet or someone with children or pets, These decks up here feel really secure, even for up here on a forward deck. This area can be very versatile in how it can be spec'd. So we can have a sunbed here in the center with lift up backrests. We can have a small U-shaped lounge area here, or what's very popular is also the foredeck davit with the tender and tender cradle here in the Flybridge motor yachts. This area as well, you can also option for a Euro awning up in this area, which will give you some shade if you have a sunbed or lounge up here. And then moving forward, we have the horizontal Muir winch. We have anchor wells each side of the winch, as well as some controls on the deck. So moving into the saloon from the upper cockpit, again we have just a single step up into this area, and then we have what is one of the largest galleys on a 55-foot motor yacht in the market. This is all because of what we've done in the exterior design and what that's allowed us to do in this area. So by having the moulded Flybridge wing overhangs, that's allowed us to push the internal staircase further outboard, as well as move the pantry over into this area here. So that's opened up more space on the other side for more appliances and refrigeration. So here we have the upright Miele fridge freezer. We have an upright appliance cupboard which can be spec'd with any Miele appliances. Forward of the appliance cupboard we have a dish drawer as well as some storage drawers. Then above on the bench top we have the Miele 3-burner element cooktop with the range hood above. Further forward again we have the sink with further storage underneath, and then all the cutlery drawers to the inboard side of that. So in the island bench here in the front we have a pull-out bin, which is a very large bin for this area. And then further aft in the island we have another storage cupboard with some shelving. This island bench can be optioned in various different ways. So you can also have the upright Miele dishwasher in here, which opens from the front. So moving to the port side of the galley, the aft end you have the full height pull-out pantry. Forward of that you have the optional refrigeration unit, which can be either a wine fridge or a pull-out drawer fridge freezer. And then forward of that you also have the ice maker. Then above that we have this blacked out glass area here, which continues all the way through the splashback of the galley, and that really lets a lot of light reflect around and just makes the area feel a lot more open and more spacious. So moving from the galley into the forward salon, again we have just a single step up into this area, but what you first notice in this area is the feature paneling throughout the headliner and the mood lighting that you see in this area. Now this brings a real ambiance to this area, a very relaxing mood, especially when the outside light dies down and you get that sort of dust setting, and that really lets these mood lights pop. You have a really big opening through the thoroughfare down to the lower accommodation, even when the dining setting here is in casual setting at the moment, but even when it opens up to the full formal dining setting where you can seat 6. This all opens up. We've actually designed the leaves of the table to both fit the angle of the front of the chaise of the dinette, as well as be more open as you walk around the end of the table here while you go there downstairs. So you can bring ottomans over to this area and quite comfortably fit 6 people dining in this setting. So to the starboard side of the salon here, we have the opposing U-shaped lounge area. And that's exactly that. It's a lounging area. So you can sit across from the dining area. You can quite comfortably fit a lot of people in this area. But the key to this area is the orientation to the TV. So here at the front of the salon, we have the 50-inch TV on electric lift. Now this TV has been designed to be orientated in a way where it's viewable and you have clear sight lines from all areas throughout the saloon, galley, cockpit, and even to a degree down to the adventure deck. You can still see this TV in this area. So we've had a real key design focus on the M55 of trying to maximise the depth of all of the saloon windows and saloon windscreen. That lets us bring a lot of light, a lot of air into this area and make this space feel more open. We also have the option for the Vista saloon windows both sides, which really open up and let the outdoors in. So moving forward from the saloon into the companionway, we have an atrium style companionway design. What that does is keeps it nice and open and lets a lot of light fall down from the windscreen into the entry area to the master stateroom. Also brings a lot of light to the entry to the cabins in the forward accommodation. So moving forward into the VIP stateroom, we have an offset queen berth arrangement. Now the reason we've done this is to allow a lot more usable floor space around the bed to avoid having to get up on steps to either make the bed or get in and out of the bed in the night. We have this vanity area all the way around the cabin here, so you have bedsides each side of the bed, and then opposite the end of the bed we have a 43-inch TV. Above in the headliner, for some light and ventilation, we have the opening deck hatch, and for additional storage in this cabin, the queen bed lifts up and you have access to storage underneath, which is quite a large area. To the starboard side at the aft end of the cabin, you have the full height hanging locker here, and that also has the full height mirror. And to the port side of the stateroom, we have the access into the VIP ensuite. So the VIP ensuite also acts as the boat's day head, so you have dual access from the companionway as well. You have a large shower to the aft end of the ensuite. That shower has a seat as well as shampoo storage. You have a large vanity area with basin. Underneath the basin you have some storage. You have a large mirror as well. And then above in the headliner you have the opening deck hatch for some more light and ventilation. So to the starboard guest cabin we have a twin single arrangement. There's a lot of height in this cabin, flat floor, so you can quite comfortably fit adults in this area. We have the deck hatch above, again, for opening ventilation and light, as well as more light through the hull window. To the front of the stateroom, we have the full height hanging locker with full height mirror, and you do have the option on the forward bulkhead for a 32-inch TV. Then down lower in the companionway area, you have the laundry cupboard here, which you can have this single combo washer dryer. You do have the option as well to go to a split washer and dryer by having the washer out here in the companionway and a dryer in the cupboard in the master. So entering the master stateroom, you'll notice this is a full beam master stateroom with centerline king bed. Flanking each side of the stateroom, you have these large hull windows with opening ports that can let a lot of light, a lot of air into this area. Each side as well we have built-in cabinetry for drawers and daybed. That can be really optioned to any desire, so that can be all drawers or more lounging space if needed. To the front of the stateroom here you have a half height hanging locker next to the TV area here. You have a 43-inch TV on the forward feature bulkhead, and then you have a full height hanging locker towards the entry of the stateroom. So the design team's had a real focus in this area of keeping all the ceiling as flat as we can and the flooring as flat as we can. So there's no steps within this cabin, it is all flat floor throughout this entire cabin. So towards the entry of the stateroom, we have the entry to the master ensuite. Now this is a really generous size ensuite. Again, you have the shower stall aft with the hull window opening port. That can let a lot of air and ventilation into the area. You have the feature panel for the shower rail, you have a seat and some shampoo storage as well. And towards the front of the ensuite, you have a large vanity area with inset basin, you have some storage underneath the basin, and then above you have a large mirror which are opening mirrors to have further storage behind those. So at the base of the internal staircase we have the electrical cupboard, so that can be accessed just by sitting here at the bottom of the stairs, and you've got all the controls to your stereo system, your generator and all the electrical throughout the boat. So a key hallmark to all Maritimo Flybridge motor yachts is the internal staircase, and this gives us safe passage from the helm to the saloon in any sea conditions or weather conditions. So up here in the M55's Flybridge, this is where you notice where this motor yacht is really in a league of its own. And that's all to do with the beam that we have in here, where I've referenced those motor yacht wing overhangs in the exterior design of the Flybridge. That allows us just to get more beam in this area and more space. So that, coupled with the orientation of the internal staircase, has allowed us to get two distinct Flybridge lounging areas. So here in the front we have the cruising lounge area. Now this area is designed to sit opposite the helm, so you can really comfortably fit 3 people in this area, and you can converse with anyone sitting at the helm. So you have great sight lines out the front windscreen, out the side windows as well, and this really is the best spot in the house for those long haul, those long range journeys. So towards the aft section of the Flybridge, we have this secondary lounging area. Now this lounge can encase a fold-out sofa bed, or it can also have an infill bed here. This lounge also integrates really well with the Flybridge balcony and the additional seating and entertaining space we have out there. Then opposite here, we have a 43-inch TV on electric lift, which is a really comfortable spot to watch TV from up in this area. So moving out to the Flybridge balcony, we have this portside entertainment unit here. So that comes with a bar fridge, you can have a sink with an infill lid, and then you have this hatch here for a optional rear station, or you can have that as a bin area there. So key to this Flybridge balcony area is the extension of the moulded hardtop, which comes all the way back to the rear rail of the Flybridge balcony. So that provides maximum coverage for this area and gives us maximum protection from the elements. Further protection can be added by having clears come down out of these recesses in the hardtop, which can come down and seal off this area, so it can be completely encased in the event it gets windy or rainy. And then above here we have these deck hatches which can open as well to get some ventilation in when you do have the clears down. So what really sets this Flybridge balcony off is the lounging space that's offered here. So this can be set up for a real lounging type atmosphere or a dining atmosphere. We have a number of different table options that can be spec'd for this area. Under all these lounges as well, you have storage, so it just adds to more storage to this area. And then with the bifold doors opening the whole Flybridge area up to the lounging area, the two lounging areas really integrate well as the TV, which can be rotated around and viewed from everywhere along this lounge on the rear of the balcony. So overhead of the helm area, above we have two deck hatches, which are standard, or we can option this area with an opening sunroof. So here at the helm we have a twin helm seat design. So the helm seats are a Pomponette signature seat. We've designed all the helm here to be as ergonomic as possible, so all the controls are within arm's reach and in a very convenient location. We also have designed the display area of the helm to be as large as possible to try and maximise the available options in terms of displays. And then both sides of the saloon as well, which is really convenient here next to the helm, we have the Vista windows here which open all the way back. So we're here down in the engine room in the M55, and what you can see is that theme of space continues down here as well. So Maritimo is well known globally for the presentation, the space, the serviceability of our engine rooms, and the M55 just takes that to a whole nother standard. So you can see I'm standing here, I'm 6'2", up here in the front of the engine room, so you've got plenty of space around the front, even more to the aft end of the engine room, and lots of servicing space as well. So here in this M55 we have the D13-800s, the Volvo Pentas. So they're an inline 6-cylinder engine. The standard engine for this boat is the D11 670. So that'll be a very comfortable boat with those engines. With the D13-800s we're seeing just on 30 knots, wide open. Each side of the engine room here we have our wing tanks, but we also have a centralised main tank further forward in the hull, down as low in the keel of the hull as we can. So these wing tanks feed down into this lower centralised tank, which always means that you have the mass of the fuel, the most amount of weight, down low in the boat. So that's critical for the centre of gravity of the boat to make this M55 as stable as possible. So we have a total of 4,550 litres as well, which for a 55-foot boat is a large capacity of fuel. So the destinations are quite limitless with this boat in terms of the range that we'll see and be able to get out of that fuel capacity. So Maritimo also focus quite heavily on the weight distribution around the boat. So all of the heavy equipment and machinery is positioned in a space in the hull where it's very close to the centre of buoyancy of the hull. As you see, the main bulk of the fuel, which is just in front here and next to the engines, is all very close to the centre of buoyancy as well, which is around this area at the front engine room bulkhead. So what that does is means no matter how the boat's loaded or what equipment you have in the boat, it means that the trim of the boat doesn't vary great amounts depending on what sort of loads the boat's carrying. And that weight distribution is critical to both performance and ride comfort. It means that the boat can cruise quite happily through a range of speeds. It's very drivable, it gets on the plane very easily, and most of all, for those long range journeys when you're offshore, it makes it a great offshore going boat. So Maritimo are also very well known for their straight shaft technology. So the M55 is no different. We've gone with a straight shaft setup in this boat, minimising the amount of shaft angle, so that shallow shaft angle creates a really efficient ride. It's a boat that drives very easily, gets on the plane very easily, is able to cruise at quite low speeds without the trim of the boat being affected as well. So then at the aft end of the engine room as well, underneath the deck hatch here, we have a hatch that's big enough to fit either a Seakeeper gyro or quick gyro through the hatch, and then we have the mounting position for the gyro here in the engine room as well. If you have any interest in any of our other models, be sure to check them out on our website or contact your local sales rep, and I'll see you guys again soon.